All right, got a lot to talk about as far as this college football stuff. I don't know really where you want to start, but seems like the biggest story is probably this whole Ed Reed situation.
Nah, at the present moment, sure.
So obviously, Ed Reed was supposed to be Bethune-Cookman's new football coach, new head coach there,
Hmm.
and he showed up a week early. And with that, he arrived to his office and noticed apparently that it was extremely dirty, trash everywhere, and just noticed that in general on the campus there was trash everywhere and it probably needed to be clean.
He went
Supposedly
to the
from
track and showed us the facilities that they train on and how lackluster they were. Basically, just showing what type of resources HBCUs get, in terms of college funding and
hmm
what they have to work with, which in itself is not a bad thing. Like the action of bringing to light just how far behind black colleges are
hmm
is not the problem here.
yeah, no, I agree. Supposedly, there's also even kind of contextual video of kind of trying to show who Ed Reed is in the sense that apparently he's insanely just anal about cleaning and making
Mm-hmm.
sure that things are done a proper way,
Yeah.
centered around that. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I mean the way that he went about displaying all this stuff on his Instagram live was filled with profanity
It
and
was unprofessional. There's
a little
there's
bit
there's no
disrespectful.
way there's no way to get around this. And well, but he's right. What did he say is wrong? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether or not he's right. You go do some shit like that, talking about the company you work for, and then go tell your boss that you're right. That's exactly what we're talking about here. There's nothing more, nothing less. This doesn't point to some greater issue with HBCUs and how they want to keep institutional control or whatever. Ed Reed would have never did what he did at Bethune-Cookman at a PWI. Period. Point blank. Never. He was at University of Miami for 3 years. University of Miami ain't been shit since he been there. So I know it's a lot of institutional problems over there. Never seen Ed Reed make a video about what's wrong, telling the public, shouting out to the public about what's wrong with the University of Miami. So if that's the case, if you won't do it at a PWI, if you won't lower yourself to the degree that you are going on a rant, right, about the conditions at your new place of employment, signaling to everyone watching, the thousands of people that hopped on that live, that yeah, man, we subpar, we substandard, we don't give a fuck about our shit, we let it be dirty, blah yada yada. And even if that isn't your message, that's what you're projecting. You're angry, you're mad, you're talking about trash, and you're driving around Bethune-Cookman. You are sending an image out to people that Bethune-Cookman's head coach thinks that he works for a shit show.
hmm
And I don't give a fuck about what you think is wrong at a HBCU. That is not the way you conduct yourself if you are the leader of said HBCU, if you're the leader of the football program. I don't care what the hell is wrong. You don't go out there and tell the world that you are lesser, that you have lesser, that you're not up to par, that you're not up to standards. You know where that speech would have been effective, where it would have been completely warranted at a board members meeting, at a board of directors meeting, or at a president's meeting, a meeting with the AD,
Hell, even a team meeting.
because that's when you can actually affect something. But embarrassing your employer into doing something for you has never worked. It's not going to work. And no disrespect to Ed Reed, but you're not the guy that they're going to bend over for like that. You're not the guy that they're going to allow to go out there and drag them through the mud and still ratify your contract. The fact that this man thought that he could talk like that about them, right? Airing their dirty laundry all over the internet. The fact that he thought he could do that without having actual employment, without putting pen to paper to say, I am Bethune-Cookman's coach for the next 3 years, is a testament to just how immature and unprofessional that whole thing was. You didn't even have guaranteed employment, and yet you out here all over the internet talking about who you want to hire you still. You have not been officially hired. It's not smart. It's not smart. Now, let's talk about the lack of funding for HBCUs and who's responsible for that?
The state.
You're talking about state universities here most of the time, outside your Spelmans and Howard and stuff like that.
Colleges that have people who can donate back.
Which ultimately are elitist organizations themselves.
Yeah.
Because they struggle with getting their own students into adequate housing and having, the facilities and the resources that a modern day college should have for their students. Even still.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about a state university, the funding comes from taxes.
Yeah.
Now, you can say all you want about, somebody taking money and somebody doing this and they not doing what needs to be done and this, that, and the third and whatever. At the end of the day, a state university is ran off of taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So while you doing all this hooting and hollering about, Bethune-Cookman don't give a damn about the track team. Look at what they practice on. They only got a straightaway. Maybe the next time it's time to vote on a levy, Ed Reed gets out there and talks to his constituents now and tells them how much the program and the university needs that money. Maybe you be an advocate to try and increase the donations that go to Bethune-Cookman. Maybe you do something other than trying to embarrass your new employer, the university that you just showed up to.
A week early.
I get why the players want Ed Reed in there to continue to be their coach. I get why the students want Ed Reed to be their coach.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it from the administration's position. We offered this man a job because we knew that we needed to excel, that we needed to climb, and we think that he's the man to do it. And before this man has ever coached a game, before he's ever coached a player on the field, he does more to diminish our reputation than any 30 years that he's broke down ass facilities.
Mm-hmm. To your point, I think he was trying to speak to having some pride in your school, but insanely ineffective.
But that didn't instill pride. None of that you were doing there is instilling pride. That was
just,
degradation.
Yeah, he didn't go about communicating that the right way.
It was degradation. You ain't speaking to a single person who can affect any change on you on Instagram Live. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Oh, he was right. Cool. He wasn't talking to a single person who could affect anything on Instagram Live. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
It wasn't a single motherfucker on that live, Coach Prime included, that could have done a damn thing to help the shit that you talking about. Where do you see this shit done at? Where there's a coach on Instagram Live driving around the campus, dogging the administration, dogging the facilities, talking about how dirty it is and all this other shit. The shit he did after that, student cleanup, athlete cleanup, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's work. Mm-hmm. That's not talk. And that's not all of this. That's work.
That's the students taking pride in the school that they're
Thank you. For. Thank you. That's you seeing a problem that may be an institutional problem or it may not be, but you see a problem and you use the people that you can use, right? And help instill a pride in the university to fix the problem. Instead of going on a bitch fit about it. Yelling, screaming, and complaining ain't never helped nobody do shit. Nothing. The only thing that he accomplished was make the university look bad and get himself out of a job. And if that was what you was aiming for, then congrats.
And a lot of those Instagram, people that are watching are only there for the spectacle, not to help in any case, right? Like to your point of those people not being there to affect any kind of change, they're probably just there for the general spectacle anyway.
Like, we're not even talking about the same issues that Prime was talking about. Prime talking about, well, they won't put the money where it needs to be. They don't put their money where their mouth is, right? And they're not taking the steps to get to the next level, blah, 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 right? He's talking about trash in the grass, y'all. He's talking about an old track.
Problems that have plagued HBCUs for much longer than just now.
And I get it. That's his thing, right? He's he told the Ravens the year they went to the Super Bowl that we got to clean up and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. I just haven't seen too many, or heard of too many coaches going to war with the janitorial staff at whatever university they're at.
Before they're actually employed by said school.
It's so crazy. It is so crazy because if you would have taken all of that energy that you had to the university president, taking it to the AD, taking it to anybody who could have affected something for you, that could have changed something for you. We're not having this conversation. You were the coach of Bethune-Cookman in 2023. Period.
Should Ed Reed be given a second chance, though?
I would like to see Ed Reed get another opportunity. It's unfortunate how this one had to play out because I don't think he could blame anyone but himself.
Sure.
I don't think he can blame anyone but himself. But, yeah, sure, I would like to see him get another opportunity.
Cool.
I think he has something to offer young players. But I don't get this idea of I'm gonna help my people by degrading them, like by dragging them through the mud and presenting no solutions. What was your answer? Well, time out. His answer was getting the athletes together to go clean up the campus, which could have been done without you embarrassing the university nationally. Yeah. That's my point.
Mm-hmm. That actually presents a good enough segue into Deion Sanders getting not only the number one cornerback last year in Travis Hunter, but the number one cornerback this year.
No, you can recruit the hell out of some DBs.
I mean, in all honesty, a black well, most cornerbacks are black. I don't know the last time I've seen a white cornerback.
A white corner? Yikes!
It's been a while. But in all honesty, a black cornerback sees the greatest cornerback and sees an opportunity to play for that person and learn from that person. Why would I go anywhere else?
I mean, the only thing that's missing at this point is draft picks from his resume at being able to develop and coach defensive backs. The only thing is missing. So when Travis Hunter comes out, either after next year or the year after, he'll have his first, NFL draft pick to hold up and say, "Look what I did," and probably followed by Kermani. I think that does have to. He got a transfer from Michigan. He got Taylor Upshaw. Taylor Upshaw committed up there, but I do think that some of that, that 5-star closer ability does have to come outside of the defensive backfield for Colorado to take another step. Because having great corners is great, but if you can't control the line of scrimmage in the pack, it's gonna be a long year. So,
oh yeah, if he can. So the way I look at it is like Ohio State's been really good with recruiting receivers, which helps them also recruit quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. I'd like to think that he can possibly do the same thing by getting somebody around these cornerbacks who is excited to play for that same defense.
Sure.
So we'll have to see, but I'd like to think that that's his next step, is turning that around somehow. Maybe for whatever reason, a linebacker is like, look, I don't have to worry so much about coverage because I've got two of the best cornerbacks. Something along those lines.
I just think he has to get the guys. I don't know if it's going to be well, you know what? I don't know because I haven't watched enough Jackson State football to know exactly how Prime coaches, but I do know it's predicated a lot on talent, obviously by the roster that he's put together at Jackson, and then now what he's saying in the early stages of building the roster at Colorado. It's heavily predicated on getting the guys. So what type of mettle does Deion show in the meantime before he gets those guys in?
If he can build a strong defense in the pack with USC and UCLA leaving, I think he's got a good shot.
Sure.
Now, obviously, he can't be Iowa out there, but
honestly, bro, I don't think.
Well, he's got his son at quarterback, so
when are they coming? 2026 or 2025?
I thought it was 2025.
Okay, so I don't think Deion Sanders is going to be at Colorado when USC and UCLA leave. I don't think he's even still there by then.
Might be his last year, maybe.
In 2025?
Yeah.
So we still got to get through the 2023 season. And then 2024 season, I think he's gone. After the 2024 season. Yeah.
That quickly?
Colorado?
I get it. But you don't think he actually plays his full, or he plays out his whole
contract?
Year?
No.
Okay.
First of all, contracts in sports mean nothing.
That's a fact.
Coaching contracts in sports mean absolutely nothing.
That is a fact.
But No, I don't see him lasting a full 3. Was it 3 years or 4 years?
I thought it was 3 years.
3 years, a full 3 years of Colorado. No, no. It's just going to take a more attractive Power 5 job or maybe NFL to come calling, and he'll be gone. He's already proven it to us. So let's not make this into something it's not. Let's not turn this into, oh man, he really loves Colorado. He might stay and build up. No.
He's gonna have to stop and sit somewhere.
I think it's gonna be either a job that's like connected to his history, so Florida State, or it'll be one of the top jobs in either
SEC
college football or
Big
NFL.
10.
Yeah,
Probably SEC though, because he's probably a little bit more connected in that area.
like a Bama, Georgia, Auburn, LSU kind of job, or something in the NFL if somebody's willing to give him a chance. But
You don't think he takes you said Auburn, but you don't think he takes like a lower end
SEC job
to build?
No,
because
because that's what he got right now in Colorado.
Is the pack the SEC?
I don't think he goes. Well, I didn't think he would go from Jackson State to a team that won one game the year before, but he did. So I can't dismiss it altogether. I think at this point where he's at now, though, he's looking to climb. I don't think he wants to go backward.
I agree with that. That's fair. We'll see what he ends up doing. I just think eventually he's going to have to set up shop and set up camp and kind of chill.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Michigan's had a few headaches this past week with their offensive coordinator getting into some old computer crime bullshit.
Yeah, still don't know what exactly it is he did, but apparently he was messing around with emails.
Okay.
Is what the official word was. And that somebody in Schembechler Hall blew the whistle on him. It's I don't know, man. This is kind of a net neutral move for me because Matt Weiss was not the best recruiter. And I feel like most of what we got out of the offense was predicated on the offensive line playing run game anyways. So it's like, you like to have him. He's been with the program all this time. He's obviously familiar with JJ and anybody else he's been recruiting, but I just don't think this is the biggest loss. It may be addition by subtraction. We don't know.
Yeah. And then on top of that, Harbaugh he was being interviewed for a Denver Broncos head coaching position, and now he seems to be straightforward with Michigan again. Any thoughts on that?
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So one thing that this year's process told me about last year's process in comparison is that Minnesota was supposed to offer that job. They were absolutely going into that about to offer Jim Harbaugh that job. Look at everything that transpired this year as opposed to last year, right? From what you would think is a much more desperate team in the Broncos as opposed to the Vikings last year. So the Vikings fly him out on a private jet. You know what I mean? They have this 3-4 hour meeting. It goes sour at some point, turns. They send him back. They don't offer the job. This year, Broncos do a video interview. You don't hear anything for about 4 or 5 days. Jim Harbaugh pulls his name for consideration. I'm coming back to Michigan. The comparison, I felt like one team was kind of feeling them out and seeing what was there, kicking the tires on them. It felt like another team thought like they had their guy and then something went wrong.
Sure.
So that's kind of what I get from that. But I've come to accept the fact that Jim Harbaugh is going to go back to the NFL at some point. I just hope that we win a national championship before he does.
Okay.
And if he does, then we'll, like I said before on the video last week, like we will send him out the way he's supposed to. You clap that man up for what he was able to accomplish and wish him his best.
Fair.
Chasing his dreams. Just get it done here. And the one thing that you have to do and continue with that quest is to continue to build your roster and
build your coaches too.
Sure. And it lasted a lot. It was a lot shorter than what it was last year, but still nobody wants to hear you in their living room talking about, I'm going to be the coach at Michigan, and then that Tuesday you're interviewing for another job. Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be sending their kids to you. They're supposed to be trusting what it is you're telling them. So year in, year out, I'm not leaving, but then interviewing for other jobs is problematic. It is. It's not sustainable. You can't do that every fucking year. So give them a timetable as to when you want to be out. Train your predecessor. Win before you leave. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Prepare us for you afterwards. Be honest about it with everyone involved. And win. I don't think that's very hard. I don't think that's anything that runs counter to what a head football coach would be looking to do. Just do it. As far as his quote afterwards and his statement, don't try to out happy. Well, maybe that's something you need to continue to tell yourself, fam.
Listen to your own advice.
Because number one, every year that you go out and interview for an NFL job and don't get one, it lessens the likelihood that you're going to go back. So going back every year looking for a job doesn't behoove you even. Number two, we're down the Vikings and then now the Broncos. You're seeing the quality of team that is available to you sliding. It was a fringe competitor who needed a leader to get him over the top. Now it's a team who's down in the dumps and looking for a savior. How attractive are your options going to be in the NFL? If you want to go, you're going to go either way. It doesn't matter. But going and trying every year and not getting it done hurts the situation going forward for him, I think.
Yeah, no, for sure. My other thing that I would add to that list of things that he needs to do before he leaves is get his ass whipped by the Buckeyes.
That's not going to happen. We're done with that. I'm about to get this three-peat.
Okay.
Like the Los Angeles Lakers.
All right.
About to go Kobe and Shaq on you niggas.
Okay. Sure.
Three-peat.
Anyway, speaking of the Buckeyes.
C3.
CJ Stroud finally announced that he's headed to the draft. So now we're officially locked in for Kyle McCord versus Devin Brown. I still believe that Kyle McCord is his position to take. But, if he doesn't do what he needs to do, obviously Devin Brown's a good option to go with as well.
Quick note. Connor Cook finished with a, let's just say he never lost to, I think he was 2-0 versus Ohio State and Michigan State. Or he was 2-0 versus Michigan.
I was going to say he was Michigan State.
He was 2-0 versus, I meant to say Ohio State. Okay. But he was 2-0 versus Michigan, 1-1 versus Ohio State, and he won 2 Big Ten titles. Connor Cook has a better resume in the Big Ten than C.J. Stroud.
Connor Cook didn't play. Who did they play in the playoffs?
Alabama. They got absolutely skull-drugged.
Okay.
They got fucking demolished.
But
so do y'all, so,
C.J. Stroud can boast that he was extremely competitive in every big game.
He's not taking that nowhere. No one wants to hear that.
It's not his fault.
I know it's fair. I know y'all want to cling to it and feel better about it because he played so well, but he lost.
Sure, but it's not his fault that they lost. I guess is my point.
Did he do something to put them in a losing position? No. But if we gonna sit up here and say it's a team win when they win, then it's a team loss when they lost. He was there.
That's fair.
He was the quarterback.
That's fair. What have we heard of Connor Cook since his college?
Oh, nothing.
legacy?
Nothing. You see, I was very specific about what I said.
Yeah.
He had a better Big Ten. He had more Big Ten accomplishments than C.J.
Sure.
Stroud.
And then went. He didn't even get drafted.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he got drafted.
Let's look it up.
I don't know where he is currently.
Connor Cook got drafted 4th round. Connor Cook's from Ohio. I didn't know that. And he shares your birthday.
Shut up.
Shares your birth. 93.
We were born on the same day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Connor Cook is a GOAT.
Connor
Cook is a GOAT.
That's crazy. Went to school at Cuyahoga Falls.
I can't give that. What the fuck? Akron?
Weiss Jesuit.
Y'all have no idea how freaky this is. So he has the same birthday as me, same birth year, and then he grew up where I lived, met my wife, and had my first child. That is creepy.
And played for Michigan State, but you're a Michigan fan.
Yo.
And for a brief moment, played for your favorite NFL team.
Believe in the Bengals?
It was off-season or practice squad. But
shout out to Connor Cook.
Connor Cook. Jesus Christ. Anyway, he did get drafted, though. 4th round. Meanwhile, C.J. Stroud, 1st round.
No, I mean,
Possibly
I never,
first quarterback drafted. No big deal.
What luck that did for Cardale Jones, right?
Cardale Jones got drafted late. He didn't get drafted first.
Who were your first round draft picks at quarterback?
Justin Fields.
He's pretty good.
Justin Fields is pretty good. He just got nobody on his offense to help him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I won't disrespect the late great Dwayne Haskins, but
yeah, I mean that never got a chance to actually flesh out.
And then there was Terrell Pryor, who barely got a full season at quarterback.
He changed positions.
And then there was JT Barrett, who got drafted.
Actually, Terrell Pryor did pretty well as a receiver.
As a receiver. JT Barrett got drafted to the Saints, and I don't think we ever saw him play a snap.
True.
Cardale Jones was the backup for the Steelers for a little while, but he never really got to play.
He's best friends with Brian Schottenstein now.
Who was before TP? Troy Smith.
Troy Smith played for the Ravens.
Yeah,
had
for a little
some
bit.
play.
Yeah, he played for a little while.
It's that whole undersized thing.
Before Troy Smith, it was it Kirk Krenzel? Craig Krenzel.
He got drafted by the Bears, I think.
Yeah, and that didn't last very long.
No.
You had Herbie. Herbie got drafted in the early 2000s. That didn't last very long.
I don't like where this conversation is.
I was just...
One thing that I did want to say, though...
But Justin Fields is pretty good.
We'll see. So one thing I did want to say, though, about this topic is fucking Mel Kiper getting on TV talking about the quarterbacks in this current draft.
Oh, he really likes Will Levis.
He loves
riding
Will Levis so hard.
Fam,
I'm like, can you please look at his stat line for me?
There wasn't a single time this season where I looked at Will Levis and be like, you know what? Penn State should have kept him. Who the hell is Drew Allar? Penn State should have kept that guy.
No, at all. And like, okay, Bryce Young is undersized, I guess, as a quarterback, but he makes things happen. C.J. Stroud plays really well in big games. What is Will Levis's upside? That's that great compared to those other two guys.
He looks like Josh Allen. He looks like Patrick Mahomes. You know.
So what?
He looks really good in pads. So
yeah, Mel Kiper is clearly checking him out.
I mean, literally, I feel like that's part of the NFL scouting process. Who looks better on the football field?
Has to be.
Who looks better at pads? If your muscles are bulging, you're a freak athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're a beast if you're large and wide. Like they're literally just talking about physical attributes half the time when they're talking about these guys.
Crazy.
So
Jamarcus Russell was large.
Yeah, he's a beast. Oh man, he's a great athlete.
That went very far.
Give us your thoughts on college football news in this last week. We've got Bethune-Cookman and Ed Reed, and we've got Colorado and Coach Prime. We've got Matt Weiss in the unemployment line. Give us your thoughts. Make sure you drop some comments in the prompt below. Like, share, subscribe. Come back next week for more content.
Absolutely. And we talk about college football quite a bit, so make sure you subscribe and make sure you check out some of our previous videos where we discuss previous weeks in college football.